what do you think when I say the word open world? For many, I'm sure you immediately look to Skyrim and its expansive world to explore.
You, finally awake.
Or perhaps Ark Survival Evolved, which implements both multiplayer and prehistoric animal collection into a beautiful, if not massive, world to explore.
Yummy.
Or even Rust, which at this point has turned into one large social experiment. However, if there's one thing that I think of when it comes to open worlds, it's one word: exploration. Discovering, uncovering hidden secrets, and learning new things about the world you find yourself in. And there's only one game I feel that has truly captured the essence of an exploration game. Now, it may look like I'm simply standing on an island, looking out into an ocean and vast sky. To anyone who hasn't played this before, this would look like any other game in early access on Steam. However, the real game isn't on this island. It's in the water. This is Subnautica. Announced in late 2013, Subnautica had a 5-year development stage before it was fully released in 2018. Since then, the game has sold over 5 million copies and is one of the most successful open-world games ever made. Even with over 200,000 reviews on the game in Steam, it still remains an overwhelmingly positive rating with a 97% overall rating from the fans. The game speaks for itself in its achievements. Speaking of achievements, this is actually the first 100% completed on Steam. That's why it felt fitting that this would be my first video on my channel. To start us off, you are a character by the name of Riley Robinson, a survivor of the spaceship Aurora. You take an escape pod off the ship before you see it explode in atmosphere, after which you're immediately knocked out like a bitch. You wake up to your escape pod on fire. This is the game's attempt to teach you how to pick up items and use them. With the fire dealt with, you can now choose to go up or down one of the 2 escape hatches. I'll go up this time. This is planet 4546b, a planet almost entirely covered in water, also known as an ocean world. Outside of the polar ice caps, the surface of this planet is comprised of over 95% water. From here you can see the Aurora, and your mission is clear. Survive this hostile alien world by any means necessary. Entering the water, you're greeted with a vibrant and flourishing ecosystem the game and community calls the Shallows. You were lucky enough to land in such a safe spot. Here is where you will find the resources you need to live: food, water, and shelter. One of those is technically checked off with the escape pod. Inside you have a fabricator for crafting and cooking, 1 storage unit, a first aid station that regularly produces a first aid kit for you, and a broken radio. This radio is the way you proceed with the story in this game. However, for the sake of being concise and spoiling as little as possible, this radio will remain damaged for now. The fabricator allows you to refine resources, produce water, and craft new tools, equipment, and electronics, including the most important tool in the game, and what sets Subnautica apart from other exploration games: the scanner. In other games, a scanner would be used as a sonar to detect objects from a distance, but in Subnautica, it's used in a more literal sense to scan objects. This is how you learn new blueprints to advance further in the game. However, its secondary and equally important aspect is its ability to make a general diagnosis and description of what you scan. For example, this peeper.
A fast prey fish encountered in shallow waters and rich in protein.
developed side-facing eyes, capable of discerning colors not just in shallow waters, but in a variety of lighting conditions. Powerful fins. This species has evolved powerful fins which enable rapid acceleration in still water and the ability to leap meters into the air to avoid pursuers. Beak. Likely used to break down corals and tough vegetation. An unusually large nasal cavity serves no obvious purpose. Expulsion tubes. The tubes attached to the pupa's torso are connected directly to its stomach and gills and appear to be designed to expel its contents on demand. Assessment. Edible. High calorie count. Further research required.
Granted, the peeper has a more extensive description than a lot, but this gives you an idea on just how much you can discover in this game. Scanning the wildlife will also give hints as to how you can utilize the resources that fish produces. As you explore, you'll come across metal salvage you can collect for more titanium. But the real salvage you want to find are these boxes, because they hold fragments to new blueprints, the most important of which early on will be the Sea Glide, a powerful exploration tool that greatly increases your speed while swimming. It's essentially a handheld ship propeller. Along with this and larger oxygen tanks, you'll be able to explore wider range faster. Another tool worth getting as soon as possible is the Habitat Builder. With it you can finally leave your cramped, limited escape pod and begin to build your new home on this alien world. I'll try not to go into detail on base building, but I'll go through a few minor things here. You'll have to worry about two major factors to the stability of your base: power and hull integrity. You can get power from many sources, from solar to thermal, and even nuclear. And hull integrity will be needed to expand your base. The larger your base, the more hull integrity your base will require. If you reach negative hull integrity, then your base's walls will begin to break and fill with water until you resolve the hull integrity and repair every hole. Outside of these two features, you can build your base anywhere on the map. There are very little limitations where you can build your base outside of the need for power, and your base, or bases, will prove vital to your survival and exploration of this strange world. Now, as fun as this game is on the surface level, there is a reason they also call this game a psychological horror. There are many aspects of this game that make it a horror experience. I will go over 3 in this video: the ocean, the alien, and the unknown. While the shallows are safe and livable outside of the biological terrorists that float around, the planet 4546b is by no means welcoming. Thalassophobia is a fear of large bodies of water like oceans, sea, and even lakes. This fear is understandable considering we have only explored 5% of our own planet's oceans. Even with sonar technology, we've only mapped 10% of the ocean floor. And the deeper you go into the water, the darker it becomes as light is reflected by the water, until all you see is the bioluminescence of the fish that you may pass. Otherwise, it's darkness. If a fear of our own ocean is understandable, imagine the terror there is to an alien ocean, completely and utterly unexplored.
I claim this planet in the name of... Isn't that lovely?
A wise man once said,
"There's always a bigger fish."
This isn't just true to Earth's oceans, but planet 4546b. At first, the largest creature you will encounter are things like the stalker and gastropod. However, once you reach out further, you realize there are even bigger creatures that exist on planet 4546b. With threats like the Reaper Leviathan existing throughout the world, it makes exploration of parts of the map risky, if not life-threatening. The Reaper uses echolocation to detect its prey, using its roar to feel and hear where it reverberates back through the water, meaning if you hear its roar, it sees you. This is just one of the monsters in this world you can run into. And to save the fear of these creatures, I'll keep them unknown until you choose to try out this game for yourself. Speaking of the unknown, without going into detail of the map, its total diameter is 2 kilometers in length. The rest of the map, in fact, most of the planet itself, is covered and submerged by what is lovingly referred to as the Void. A vast, endless expanse that goes on forever. It turns out that the Aurora was lucky enough to land upon this underwater plateau that allows the Aurora, and thus you, to sit above a dark, endless abyss where anything could be living. Attempting to explore this part of the map leads your PDA to say this.
Warning, entering ecological dead zone. Adding report to databank.
That being said, while the Void itself is terrifying, the environment of the plateau itself is also terrifying, as life here only vaguely resembles life on Earth enough to be livable. That doesn't change that you are forced to discover and encounter everything you need directly. Combining these elements with a need to explore for the sake of expanding your base or the storyline, and you find yourself in many uncomfortable situations where you're forced to put your own safety and the integrity of whatever vehicle you may have at risk to progress the game to your ultimate goal, a cuddle, escaping the planet. While this may seem like a simple task at first, the more you progress in the game, the less simple the solution becomes. All of these elements lead to Subnautica not only becoming one of the best open world games to be made, but set the bar for what it meant to be an exploration game. I could go on about this game for hours if I really wanted to, but I want to preserve as much of the game's mystery as I can to those that have yet to play it. I know some may think it's foolish, or not needed to preserve the mystery of an old game. However, as I'm making this video, Steam has over 2,700 new players that had bought the game in the last 30 days. A lot of people not only haven't played the game, but haven't even heard of it. I'm making this video because I wanted to talk about a game that deserves all the praise it earned, and then some. But also that I may convince the next person to play this game without any prior knowledge of the game. Outside of this video, of course. Don't forget to like and subscribe. As for the future of Subnautica, unfortunately it's clouded in as much mystery as the game itself. Unknown World Entertainment, the studio that developed Subnautica, had made another game called Subnautica Below Zero, a sequel that takes place on the previously mentioned ice caps of the planet. And while this game is also positively rated on Steam with a very positive rating of 90%, the community has criticized the game for having a smaller map, less variety of fauna, and a less compelling story. Despite the character you play actually being able to speak now. I also 100% completed Subnautica Below Zero, and I intend to make a review on it as well if this video receives any traction. But that's a story for another time. As for recent events, they announced Subnautica 2, with the trailer heavily hinting towards the franchise's first steps into cooperative gameplay, allowing you to bring a friend with you into the hostile alien world. As exciting as this is, it has been made aware to the community that the original creators of Subnautica have been let go of from Unknown World. What this means for the future of Subnautica 2 remains unclear. We can only hope that the game manages to capture the same feeling as the first, but only time will tell. While I can't tell you what will be in store for us in Subnautica 2, I will promise you one thing. I'll probably 100% this one too, and this time I'll be recording it for your viewing pleasure. Until then, I'll see you next time. Take care of yourself. See you later.